We talked about the whole gambling thing yesterday, and I want to share this. I know we got a lot of stuff to get to today, but this is the beauty of not having games. We can pretty much talk about whatever we want to open the show, as we do anyway when games are happening. So, yesterday, we talked about the whole gambling thing and how the NFL has done a 180, and we're going to Las Vegas next week, and the Super Bowl is going to be there. And, you know, before the Supreme Court opened the floodgates for state-by-state legalized gambling, the NFL hated it. The NFL opposed it. The NFL was against it. So yesterday, they had a conference call with reporters to talk about gambling, to talk about the NFL's efforts to deal with and strike that balance between embracing it, but also encouraging people to wager responsibly and keeping players away from it. So when it was time to ask questions, Mikey raised his hand. Here's the question I asked, and I posed this to Jeff Miller, who's the head of PR and the head of health and safety for the NFL. I asked him about a quote from the commissioner in 2012. The commissioner said this in 2012 when they were fighting against legalized gambling, because they were against it until they were for it when the Supreme Court, opened up this revenue stream that the NFL now enjoys. Goodell's quote: "If gambling is permitted freely on sporting events, normal incidents of the game, such as bad snaps, drop passes, turnovers, penalties, and play calling, inevitably will fuel speculation, distrust, and accusations of point shaving or game fixing."
Right.
My question for Jeff was, have you seen that kind of speculation and distrust, and what are you doing about it? Now, the answer I got was, and I don't want to say word salad in a pejorative way, but it was a word salad of all the things we're doing, and thank you for asking a difficult question, and yada, yada, yada. But he never addressed the threshold question. Are you witnessing it? Because, Chris, we sure are. Every time you turn around, somebody's saying it's rigged, it's rigged, it's rigged, it's rigged. And it's more than ever before, because the legalized gambling gives people another layer to believe that people are fixing things. And he never addressed it. And I've sent 2 emails since then saying, look, because I tried to ask a follow-up and they shut me down before I could. I've sent 2 emails asking that question. Are you witnessing this? Because we are. And regardless of what you're doing to address it, is your fear coming to fruition? I want to hear them say that, yes or no. Are they aware of it? Is your greatest fear coming to fruition? Are you aware of it? Great point.
Yeah.
Are you aware of it? Because the rest of us are.
Yeah.
And it's irritating having to put out these fires on the front lines. They're not paying me to put out the fires.
Yeah.
But we're out here telling people, it's not rigged, it's not rigged, it's not rigged.
Constantly.
And I'm constantly hearing, it's rigged, it's rigged, it's rigged, it's rigged. Are they at least willing to address that what the commissioner said 12 years ago is happening? You have to acknowledge that before because what you're doing may not be working. That's really the bottom line. Whatever they're doing, it's not working because the speculation and distrust is rampant right now, and we're heading to Las Vegas, baby.
Yeah.
So what do they think? They're going to play a Super Bowl in the world capital of gambling, and they're going to think people aren't going to be suspicious if there are, to use the commissioner's quote, normal incidents of the game, such as bad snaps, drop passes, turnovers, penalties, and play calling? You think that's not going to fuel speculation and distrust when you're playing the damn game in Las Vegas?
I hear you, Mike. I mean, I think it almost ties into a little bit like what we were just talking about. That's the world we're in right now. The fix is in, the conspiracy, the deep state, whatever it is. It almost all feeds into that right now. So, yeah, now gambling's allowed, and yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, you look at TikTok, you look at Instagram, right? You look at certain things after the Chiefs-Ravens game the other day. I mean, there's a huge faction of people that just think, oh, the NFL wanted the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. This was fixed. These flags. Look at this. They didn't throw a taunting penalty on him, but they did on him, and it just becomes this whole thing where, yeah, there's definitely a little distrust in the process right now in the NFL. I think there's distrust for everything in our world right now, but the NFL too, and then you add the money and gambling with it too as well. Yeah, I think it leads people that way more. Right.
Some of that was already going to be there.
Right.
Some of it's always been there.
Yes, right.
But when you throw this massive for-profit enterprise, which is rigged against you anyway, you ain't going to win. I mean, we're going to go play these table games, maybe, if you get me drunk enough. We're going to go play these table games.
I am.
You can't win.
Right.
They're all rigged for you to lose. They lure you in. The craps, for example, craps. There's that bet in craps called Field where if the next roll is any of a certain group of numbers, and I think it's like 2, 3, 4, 5, 9, 10, 11, 12, and you look at that, it's like, wow, that's almost all of them. But it's not the ones that statistically are going to come up more often than the rest.
Right.
It looks great because look, there's hey, it can be 12
the odds are pretty
numbers,
good,
and
right?
More than half of them are on this. Like, damn, put my money in there, and it's like, hey, I won one. All right, let's do more. Let's try again. Well, I lost. Now I got to chase my losses. How am I going to get home? Anyway, that's a real issue, and I'm going to keep pressing the NFL. I want to make sure they're aware of what we're aware of because we're dealing with it all the time. It's rigged, it's rigged, it's rigged, it's rigged. And it's frustrating. It's frustrating.
It is frustrating.
And it's maddening because it's not. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.